Yo, alright, we are live. So, welcome everyone. Today we're gonna start working on the game. Last time we had a pretty thorough walkthrough of this image, which is my game design document essentially. So basically, every now and then I'm just gonna look at this and go, okay, what's the next step? I think I'm gonna try to get everything in this image done. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, check out the previous video. So I think it might be best if we just wrote some kind of to-do list for ourselves. So this is session 1. So set up test level. That's the first step, I think. The next step is probably create the mother vehicle. At least some first version of that. It should be a pretty good sort of stress test to see how the physics layer deals with really huge vehicles. What else? What do we have here? I think, to be honest, that's probably quite enough already for one video, but yeah, this test level is not going to be this level, by the way, probably. I think we're going to need to... We are going to need to have a level where we can just drive around and mess with things. That's the very first thing. So, I don't know, maybe cranes? That could be kind of interesting. Or should we just have a scout vehicle? I don't know. Scout. Add some ideas here so that we don't run out of things to do. Yeah, let's go with that. Let's start by setting up the test level. So create a new window for ourselves and go into means. What do I have here? Oh, I have some stuff from before that I should perhaps submit. Yeah, let's just do that. Let's go with that. And before we do anything else, let's just make sure that we can actually run the game. So we have the code here, and I can just run build release, and we should get the library built for us in a second. Okay, build succeeded. Nice. Yeah, we don't really need to use, I guess, that. We could just use remedy bg. Maybe that's faster to use. Where's my session? My session is conspicuously missing. Oh, recent. Means. Oh, okay. Yeah. Yeah, I have probably actually accidentally gotten rid of that. Let's move that to the side. Yes. Yes. Right, here we go. I probably need to restart that one. Here we go. Okay, means. Here we go. Now, let's run this, and we should boot into the game. And that's good. We can make it so that it automatically loads into a level. Let's just make sure we have sound as well. Yeah, I can hear sound. I might not actually edit the sound properly so that you get sound this time around, because won't really be concentrating on that. But yes, so we can run the game. That's good. That's good. We can open the editor, I would assume. So yeah, with the Zig framework in Basis, the executable is called Trampoline. Trampoline is kind of a very thin application. It's the exe essentially of the game. It's kind of like the Unity player, if you will. Doesn't really contain any game code at all. Just loads the library that you are telling it to load, and the library then contains all of the game code in Zig form. So if we go into release here, I just build essentially all of my Basis projects into the same folder. So we have lots of different things here. But you can see Trampoline here is 882 kilobytes. And means game is, well, it's even smaller because it just contains a little bit of code. But means game.dll, that is essentially the thing that we will be loading or creating. That's the game. And if we go to main CPP, we can see that it is hard-codedly set to load. Zig library name is means game. And that means that when we load the editor, we are actually running the Trampoline. We're telling it to load the means data from the work folder root of means data, work folder root. And it should work. All right. Looks good, looks good. Okay, we have some test vehicles here. We have some development objects. Tire track point even. All right. Before we do anything else, let's go into means data, and I'm going to create a new folder here called prototype. And if you don't know, in Basis, in the work folder root, the folders here are turned into resource packs. So all of these will actually become like a data file when we ship the game. So we'll have a new prototype data pack. We can create a level. On the level, let's create a terrain. The terrain is actually created high above its pivot point currently, which is a little silly. Like we can see, the pivot point is down there, and the terrain sits above it. But the idea is basically that the pivot point sits at the lowest level of where the terrain can go. So there's a height field essentially. We can I'm gonna lower it. Let's bring the strength up. I'm gonna lower it, and now if we if we move this, we can see that the lowest level is at the pivot point of the terrain. So let's put that pivot point at like world origin. I think that's something I typically do. We can put in a sky sphere. We'll get some basic sky here. We can even give it some kind of cloud texture. What is the one I typically use? Sky noise, I think. I'm sure you'll have seen that from like slide basically. We can make the sunlight a little brighter, put up the intensity a little bit so that we get something that's not so dark. Let's maybe put down a car or two here to see what this looks like. At this point we can save the level. We can go into means data. We go into our new prototype, proto test level, or something like this. All right. And now we can actually run this. So we just hit Control P or play level in this. I mean, we could have run it at any point, and we'll spawn at the world origin, which is below the terrain, so that's a bit silly. And now we can play around. This is actually a really huge vehicle already, but it won't be nearly as big as the mother vehicle will be. But yeah, this is a really big vehicle already. You can almost drive under it with this guy. Yeah. We can create a free camera setup, which I don't seem to have it here. Oh, that's a bit annoying. Oh well. Let's add like a slight shorthand to ourselves to make the setup in the game a little bit easier. So if we let's move to free camera. There we go, free camera, and we can move upwards and we can find this vehicle. If we set this as avatar, we can see that actually it runs this kind of command. GameState.set avatar, we can copy that and we can paste it here in the command prompt. So now if we run the game again, we should just be able to open the command prompt and execute the last command again. Okay. All right, that's good. Let's get a little bit of coffee. So to be able to sort of reason about this space in some sense, maybe we should add some objects here. Let's add some kind of piece of geometry. Let's make this actually it can be a box, and it can be red or almost orange, I guess. Bring this up and I don't know, move it here. Have another one there. Just like with a completely empty level, it's kind of difficult to see anything, like what is going on with anything in this world. So let's just put in some landmarks here for ourselves so that we have something to you know, like compare movement against, essentially. Like that. Maybe we'll put in we'll raise up the terrain a little bit here. I need a little more strength. Something like this. Because some of the very first things that we'll be doing is we'll be driving around with the mother vehicle and making sure that it actually does sort of work on some level. And maybe we can do something fun. For some definition of fun, let's add like a small bridge here between a few of these ridges, something like that, and then we can do something interesting with a terrain carver. I think we should have a terrain carver. I can't honestly remember all the time which of these objects are sort of in the standard basis collection of game objects and which are slide specific. For example, I didn't remember that the free camera setup object actually is a slide object, it would seem. Right, so with this you can make these kinds of ramps. Then you can carve off areas like this. It's kind of handy to use. And you can adjust the shape of this. It can be a cylinder or a sphere or whatever. So carve and extrude. Let's carve a little more. That's that. And maybe we can sort of melt these hard areas a little bit. Just a little bit. Just a little bit. Like so. And then we'll put in an object here to act as a bridge. Let's make it 50, no, not 50 in all directions, but 50 and 1 and 10 maybe, something like that. That's pretty close to being good, but not quite. It's pretty close to being good, but not quite. It's a little too long, I guess. So 45 maybe. 20. Something like that. Let's make it maybe just a little bit shorter still, right? Something like that, and then something like that, and then we're not going for super accurate here. So yeah. I need to have a little bit of strength to be able to do anything. Right, so we can record this, and then we can sort of bring that up a little bit. Same thing here. We can record that, and then just try to get rid of this slight bump in the road here. Oh. Something like that. Right, I'm already spending way too long on this seemingly unimportant bridge. Let's try it out. Oh, actually, I forgot one thing. This guy needs to be set to default ground, otherwise we can't actually drive on top of it. Things that you want to drive on, they need to be marked as ground on the physics side of things. There's our bridge. There is our bridge. And yay, we can drive on top of it. Maybe we should put in some sort of guardrail here so that you don't fall off the level, but we'll see. And we can even drive under it. And the camera goes a little crazy. Okay, so this seems like a pretty reasonable level, I think. Maybe we should turn the sun a little bit, something like that, so that we're not in shadow immediately. All right, that's kind of reasonable. Ambience controller gives us the ability to adjust the lighting so that it looks more readable, essentially. Yeah, I'm not sure. I'm not sure we need that. We can have fog enabled if we want to. To be honest, this level is not big enough to really warrant fog, but yeah, maybe we don't actually do that. It's probably fine. Cool. So this maybe already is a pretty good test level. Let's just sort of copy paste these guys a little bit and maybe move them around slightly, just so that we have a few objects to mess around with. Make that like blue, like so. Now we can already sort of tell the sort of distance a little bit better. Yeah, we should probably adjust the shadow cascade distances. Let's go and have a look at what I used in slide. So work folder root. Maybe we can look at it here in this huge level. What do we have? So we have 30, 70, 150, and 420. I should really make those the default ones. They tend to be quite good. Of course, the view is a little different in this game. So anyway, now we have shadows. Pretty reasonable shadows. Okay. Now we can try. I don't think we'll need it yet, but we can try doing a nav mesh. We can try generating a nav mesh just to see if it works. So build, and here we go. Nav mesh. Nav mesh tester. Does the nav mesh tester work? Let's see. I think the nav mesh tester sort of does. Yeah, okay, this is how it worked. So essentially you click somewhere, then you click with the other button, and then it kind of draws the path from one to the other. So here we can see it goes that way, and then here it tries to cross the bridge, but actually the line is sort of difficult to see. It probably goes like through this bridge somehow. No, it actually goes down there. That's weird. Oh well. Yeah, I think it's still safe to say that we have a nav mesh. Otherwise, stuff like this wouldn't work. So that's probably pretty good. I probably can't draw the nav mesh because it's running on the server, and you need to run the server on the client thread for it to be visible. Yeah, here you can see this is like a mistake essentially. Apparently this guy is marked as blocking the nav mesh, which is a bit silly. So wherever you have this guy placed, when you bake the nav mesh forever, there will be like an untraversable area. That's not good. But that's neither here nor there right now. Yeah. Let's set the terrain to be number 1 on the quick selection group. That's typically what I use. We can remove the nav mesh tester. That's just makes it confusing more than anything. Okay. All right. So I think this is pretty good as the test level for now, at least. We can maybe This is a very last thing. Just the diffuse color of the terrain, like a little bit, and make it so that it's not just white or gray. Makes the level a little easier to read, in my opinion. Okay. Alright, so a pretty reasonable level for us to start building the mother vehicle in. Okay, so how do we actually build vehicles then? Haven't done that in a long time, but it shouldn't be that difficult. So in Basis, you compose so-called game object types. If we click this guy, we can see that the object type here is vehicles/test vehicle. Maybe it's a little difficult to see. This guy is vehicles truck 1, and you can see the same thing here. You can see truck 1 is there, it's in the vehicles group. And so the vehicles are also game object types, and a game object type is constructed through a so-called blueprint, which you can see here. I actually looked at this in the engine sound video quite a lot. So here we have 3 vehicles. A vehicle is made up of components, or shall we say a game object is made up of components. Game object type, which is like a game object type and a blueprint. They're kind of interchangeable in the sense that the blueprint specifies what goes into a game object type. The blueprint is specifically this document here with a bunch of different components. So the test vehicle has the transform, the dynamic body transform component, which essentially makes it a dynamic object from a physics perspective. Let's make this a little bigger. It has a bunch of shapes. So it has the this is the chassis. So this is a convex hull with these points. It has a bunch of wheels. It has, I think, another chassis. Yeah, because actually the chassis isn't convex for this guy. It has these sort of wings that extend. Not that the physics necessarily match the visuals exactly. You can see that I've been lazy and just used slides scout collisions for this vehicle. So they don't match exactly, but these lines that you see, they are the convex hulls, and there are 2 of them, which is why we have 2 vehicle chassis shapes here. And the vehicle system essentially expects the first shape of the object to be the chassis, and then the object or the shapes after that to be the wheels. So we have 4 of those. The material is vehicle wheel. And then if you put any more shapes after that, again, it doesn't care about them, so you can put more chassis shapes after that. We have some mass here, which is actually not used in this case because the mass is set for vehicles in a separate file. It's not kinematic. You don't use continuous collision detection. Center of mass is 0. This is actually also not true. So these are mostly used for, because you'll be using this same component just if you make like a dynamic, box that you can kick around. But with vehicles, a lot of these are actually overwritten through the vehicle JSON file, which we'll look at in a bit, which is actually here, vehicle description path. We have some other controller components. We have the vehicle controller component, which we also looked at in the engine controller or engine sound video. We have the means vehicle component, and we have a vehicle it's called vehicle description path. Look at that. That's not correct. That's not correct. Let's go and actually change that. So how did we change that? Means data, folder root, metadata, component UI definitions. So this is means vehicle component, and yeah, this is supposed to be vehicle controller type. There we go. Yeah. Did it update already? No, it didn't. Probably need to reload this guy. Vehicle description path still. That's confusing. What? All right, I know. Reload UI component definitions. Yeah. Here we go. Vehicle controller type. So this is the type of 4W, which means 4-wheel vehicle. These are actually specified by PhysX vehicle framework, the old vehicle framework, which we are still using. PhysX 5 has a new vehicle framework, which I haven't switched to yet. But yes, 4-wheel. Then you can have N-wheel, so any number of wheels. We'll actually probably use the N-wheel controller type for the mother vehicle and the no drive. I use this for like trailers and things that don't really have an engine. But yeah, this is a 4-wheel type. We have some other things as well. We have the chassis mesh, the visual mesh, and some other things. And this is the vehicle FX component that we added. Okay, pretty good. So we'll need some of these guys. And I think for the mother vehicle, let's not make it a 4-wheel vehicle. Let's make it at least 6 wheels. I'm thinking it might actually in the end up being like tracked. But I don't really do tracked vehicles yet. So let's make it a 6-wheel vehicle. And as you may or may not know, we have 6-wheel vehicles in Slide. If we open Slide and we go to vehicles, our vehicle blueprints. In here, where's my asset preview window? Let's make this a little bigger. Click. No. All right. What do we have? We have the car 3. So here we have a 6-wheel vehicle, for example. Turn off the shape rendering. Make this a bit larger still. So the wheels don't actually show up here because they're rendered sort of dynamically at runtime by the, I think it's called wheel renderer component or something. If I can remember where it is. We have some grenade launchers. We have some hit scan weapons, weapon control hauler component. Yeah, this can like haul trailers. So there's a component for that. Persistent object game unit. Suspension renderer. Vehicle light. Blah, blah, blah. Alright, this actually derives from base type vehicle car 3 base, which doesn't really look like anything, but it might actually have. Yeah, it has the wheel shape in the middle, and then the physics for the chassis. Because we actually have a few of these guys. We have this one, which is the one that has weapons. And then there's this one which doesn't have weapons. This is the cargo variant. They both derive from car 3 base. Anyway, if we go and look at car 3 base still, I think we could maybe use this as the base for the mother vehicle. This should have, yeah, this is an N wheel. Slide vehicle component looks a little different than the one that we have on the means side. This uses the N wheel controller type, and it has the controller description path of game vehicle devs car 3. Let's move that off to the side. What did it look like here? Vehicle description path, vehicle controller type. Yeah. It's essentially the same thing. For some reason, those are just... the order is flipped. Ugh. Let's get some more coffee. All right. I think we'll just take that and we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens, basically. I'll try to make a really big vehicle. Anyway, what about these JSON files then? If we take this and we look at car3.json, we can just type car3.json. Here we go. Here we have it. Explore to, or we can even perhaps open it. So here's where we actually take a lot of those values that I mentioned that we'll be overwriting in the case of vehicles. So we have a chassis mass, center of mass, max rotation speed for the engine, max torque for the engine, torque vectoring. Yeah, we'll probably need that for the 6-wheeled vehicles. There's a video about that. If you want to figure out what that is, just look at my channel for that. We have the wheels. Actually, we have a wheel base, which sets up a whole bunch of things like render materials and meshes. And then you specify sort of an array of wheels, and it takes everything from here, except you can then override things. You can set the offset, for example, so this is like where in local space the wheel is placed, and whether it's driven or not, steer angles, blah, blah, blah. And then we have some camera positions. So currently we have 2 cameras. We have the driving camera and we have the orbit camera. And we'll probably add a 3rd one for this game. Okay, cool. Let's take this guy. And I'm not hitting my icons correctly. So actually we can just commit that UI def fix like so, and what we will do is we will have probably, where was this? It was in vehicle defs. Yeah, we already have a vehicle devs folder, so let's just create a new file here. All right, let's call this mother method. What? Mother vehicle .json, and yeah, it complains because it contains no JSON. Don't you worry, little asset server. It's like text only contains white space. Oh no. Okay, anyway, here we go. This is the thing. So yeah, we can't actually use those. We can't use the bin material and the bin mesh. We don't have those. Detached object type. That's That's something we also don't have. That's fine. Let's see what happens if we leave these empty for now. And auto gearbox perimeters. Well, we'll need to set up the gearbox perimeters for this vehicle, yes, but we don't have that yet. We do actually have. This is means, yeah. So we do actually have the car 3 bin here. We can just leave that as it is for now, even though the gearbox is probably not correctly set up for this one. But yeah, let's essentially try to get this car 3 vehicle working in means first, minus the visuals, I guess. And then then we take that and then we scale it up. We try to make it bigger, like 5 times bigger or something, and that would be our mother vehicle. Okay, so now then we go to means, and we create a new. We do it there. We call it vehicle. After all these years, I still can't write vehicle mother. Okay. And I might actually want to copy paste some of these things from the slide version. Let's just save that. Export to this file. This is also a JSON file. We can just open it in Sublime. And here we have the vehicles. And here we have our new mother vehicle. And we go here and we take not actually that, but vehicle blueprints, explore 2. And yeah, this is going to be really large and annoying to work with. So let's try to, we can fold some of these guys. That's handy. Car 3 base component. So here we have the dynamic transform. We'll take that one. Thank you very much. No mesh obstacle. Yeah, we'll want that eventually, but not yet. And it doesn't like my comma probably. But let's not care about that for now. Debug object window. We might actually have something like that. Let's see. Where is it? Where is it? Here we go. That allows us to set it as the avatar from the debug drop down. I'll just make a quick list here on the side of all of the things that we'll actually need. We need the vehicle controller component, we need the auto gearbox component, we need the wheel renderer component. We don't need the slide vehicle. Instead, what we need is the means vehicle. So let's get that. Vehicle effects, star tracks, no. Material effects, no. Yeah, I don't think we need any of those. Right, so that's a car 3 base. Then we can go to car 3. Car 3 detached wheel, no. Car 3 debris piece, debris piece, debris piece, debris piece. Probably actually this. AI movement, we don't need perception, we don't need brain, we don't need chassis mesh. Well, we can put something there, I guess. Interior windshield, headlights, brake lights, vehicle lights, suspension renderer, maybe at some point. We don't have that yet. Game unit, present object hauler. Yeah, I don't think we need any of these guys as a death component. Yeah. Okay. So, right. Vehicle controller. We will need that, and we will need means vehicle as well, and we will need the auto gearbox as well. Wheel renderer. Yeah, we need all of these. Vehicle avatar. I don't know what is vehicle avatar actually. What does this do? We'll probably need it. Yeah, I think this is the one that. Yeah, this sends like the local avatar and transform update. We will need that actually if we want to use it as an avatar. Okay, so we can actually just take all of those. We have the debug object there as well. We have some meshes, and we have the transform. So replace that with that. And now this guy should be happy again. Yes, it updated the JSON file. And now we can go back to our blueprint and we can load the mother object, and we have all of this already here. Okay. So it's truck1 JSON. We don't actually want that. We want it to be mother vehicle. Can we? Right. Yeah, we have the other. We have this guy occupying the port. Oh no. Seems to have crashed. That's not good. Okay. Luckily I saved before that. Yeah, using two of these at the same time. Running the preview seems to be a little flaky. So let's do blueprint and vehicle blueprints and mother, and actually let's just do this. We can like we can load that thing. What happens if like assertion failed? Yeah. Okay. Yeah. All right. We have some issue here on the Zig side. There's probably something that we're missing from our vehicle setup. Let's make sure we have this in debug mode. I will build the actual game in debug mode as well. So build debug. Build succeeded. Now to be able to actually run the preview in debug mode, we have to come in here and we have to change that to debug. And we can save this as, actually we already had a means debug, so we don't need to do that. We can just load that instead, means debug. It has the debug folder there. That's good. Yeah, I spoke about the ports earlier, and the reason why it crashed when we had two of them open. We could actually set some other ports here, particularly that port. But it's fine. Now let's just wait until we have the trampoline and in fact the core engine built in debug mode, and then we can run it like so. Now we should be able to load this in debug mode. Now if we do blueprints and we run vehicle blueprints, right? So if we click this, JSON help, we get string member. We're missing something from so basis Zig JSON helper Zig 25. Right. Okay, I get string member. I bet it's something like this. Don't we actually have a message is right there? we should probably just contain the name, okay? That's a little annoying, isn't it? Assert with message. Assert with message. Let's indeed assert with message and just put name there, right? So it should tell us what it is actually missing. That means, yeah, I'll build this in debug mode. Oh, what do you want? Assert with message. Really? It's called assert D, just like it is in C++, right? Assert with description. Yeah. Something else. Following build failed. Okay. What? That's weird. That's weird. That's not something we want. What? Terminal, come on. What? Where did my terminal go? It just goes away. Okay, I clearly don't know how to use these terminals. Where's my normal terminal, if you will? Terminal. It just goes away when I click enter there. That's annoying. So can we do release then? Unable to update file, blah blah blah. Access denied. Oh, that would be because we're. Yeah, okay. I now see why this is actually happening. Just shut all of those down. Shut all of those down. Oh, come on. Yeah, you really get the best of these tools this time around. Task manager, let's just kill the thing. Okay, so now we should be able to build in debug. Yeah, it succeeded. It succeeded so fast that I didn't even recognize it. Right, okay, so... And now it's just off somewhere. Jesus. It's not going very well. Let's reset the Windows settings and we'll get the thing back. Thank you very much. Now please don't break again. So blueprints, vehicle... Right, so differential type is missing. Differential type is missing. If differential type is there, it is indeed missing. It's commented out. I don't know why we would need it. I think it's probably just a mistake in this Zig version of the vehicle description loader. Right, differential type. If the vehicle is 4W, not 4W though, so that's kind of weird. Where are we actually? Differential type. Let's source file. Right. Let's go into VHL. Where is it? Eclipse. There we go. And vehicle description. There we go. And something like that. And then we do debug trampoline. There we go. Now we run this. Okay, and it doesn't load it unless we actually try to create one of those objects. Okay, that's probably fine. We can simply, we haven't actually even, right, we the editor crashed because we just forcefully killed the game application. That makes perfect sense, really. So let's just export that level. Proto test level. Just hit export. There we go. And I think to be able to place one of those objects in the level, and we need to somehow register it. I don't remember exactly where. Is it means app? Yeah, it's right here actually. And it's just called mother. Distance from surface is 3. That's probably fine for now. It won't be when we make it bigger, but it's fine for now. Let's leave it as it is. And now, if we run this, first of all, we should see our new test level here, proto test level. We can load into that, and right, we get into this, and we run it a few times because we have a couple of vehicles there. Cool. So now, if we try to spawn the mother object, we can see that it's 4-wheel for some reason, and now it complains. I can't find the differential type. Okay, so why is it 4-wheel when we try to actually make it an N-wheel vehicle? That is the question. Right, that would be why. N-wheel. N-wheel is the one we want. Now we can actually maybe just load it here, can we? Is it going to complain about something else? No, it's not. It's actually works quite fine. Okay, cool. So we can shut that down. And we can run the game again. What is happening? I'm running 2 of them at the same time, right? I ran one from Visual Studio Code accidentally. Let's try to put down a mother vehicle there. Could not find wheel material. Yeah, okay, so wheel material is, if we break, we will go here, and then we can go to the call stack, And we can go set up vehicle, create wheels, create visuals, and we don't have a wheel material. So that makes perfect sense. For that to work, we can just take one of these guys. Actually, we can go into the vehicle defs and we can do like a what do we do? What is this called? It's called truck 2. So game vehicle defs truck 2. I think that's slide, so we don't need that. We can shut that off. We'll go to basis, means data, work folder, root, game, vehicle defs, truck 2, for example, or truck 1, I don't know. Let's go with truck 2, and we'll just take those materials and meshes from there. And now if we run this, we should have a vehicle with like 6 wheels and no body, essentially. So mother, boo, here we go, hey. And if we turn on the debug visualization, we can actually even drive this thing. Okay, that was a lot of work just to get a basic vehicle in the game. I haven't added a new vehicle for quite a long time, so I apologize for that. If you're wondering why this physics visualization is sort of jumping back and forward a little bit, that's because the physics are not interpolated like the visuals are. So it can be a little jittery, and that's just because the physics are running at like a fixed 60 updates per second, while the visuals are interpolated. So if we drive this a little forward, you can see that they don't actually match perfectly. And actually the wheels are sort of almost look like they're lagging behind, or the whole visualization looks like it's lagging behind, and it's just glitching a little bit because it doesn't match the visuals, but that's fine. Anyway, now that we have this guy in the game, we can actually hot update the changes to it. So we can, for example, just straight up move a wheel somewhere like this, and it should update and oh, that's truck 2. No, sorry, that's not the one I wanted. This is the one. Here we go. So now you can see that one of the wheels moved, and it just becomes a very, very strange vehicle. But that doesn't matter. And yeah, the visuals only snap back when it's actually updated. So this is now how we should be able to iterate on this vehicle, if you will. So what do? Let's start by just moving the wheels actually quite far away from the center, just in an effort to just slowly but surely make this vehicle bigger and still make sure that it kind of doesn't explode as part of the physics simulation going bonkers or anything. And actually the center wheels are like in the air now. Ooh. This is where that whole torque vectoring thing is starting to become important. Bring the camera back a little bit. Let's make it even even larger. So 15, 15, 15. Here we go. So now we have the wheels at like truly ridiculous distances from each other, and like driving this thing now is just completely impossible. Like the front wheels are turning and the middle wheels are turning just like the 6x6 vehicle in Slide. And only the middle wheels are actually touching the ground currently. It's actually sort of kind of impressive how well it does stay to like somewhat reasonable, this simulation anyway. It's starting to bug out a little bit. This is really not useful, it's just fun to play with. No, the middle wheels are in the air. Okay, so that's that. Let's make the radius of the wheels larger. I think we might not actually be able to do that purely from this JSON file, which is the one that we can hot load. We need to actually update that in the blueprint as well, and blueprints currently don't hot load, so let's hold off with that for a little while still. But we need to make this vehicle wider as well. So let's do that first, and that's nowhere near enough. Okay. So what is like the relative size of this now compared to... Yeah, this truck is just ridiculously big. Let's bring out like the truck number 2, which is significantly more sensible. This is now starting to become really tricky to actually maneuver. You can see here that this is a bug with the visualization currently, where like we need to sort of nudge this a little bit for the visualization to update. Okay, but I think like the size of the overall size of this is perhaps starting to approach what we want. So I think the offsets are probably okay for now. Let's shut this down and go to back to the blueprint, and we'll just try something here. So do the radius as just 1.65 for now. This is again something that has to be tried out and iterated on. So 165, and what do we make the height? So this is like the cylinder height, which means that it would actually be the width of the wheel. What do we make that? Let's make that just like one unit, 1 meter. So something like that. We save that, and then I'll just quickly make those same changes here in the JSON file, like so. And now we can actually we can make a small change to our level. And we can actually put down one of these mother vehicles in the level. Where's our vehicles? Vehicles. Here we go. Mother. Mother doesn't have a mesh, but that doesn't matter. And here you need to actually simulate physics to get them to update. So that's kind of interesting how it sort of, yeah, there's something funky with this simulation now, but we'll figure it out. Right, and just play this, see what happens. We can do that again, and then we can do, here we have the mother. We can set that as the avatar, which gives us the command to actually do it. Then we can again do this same thing so that it's, that makes it easier to select this in the future. Alright, so yeah, this is this is kind of bugging out now quite a bit actually. It's clearly not handling this sort of simulation gracefully. Whoa. And this might be because of several different things, like the mass just might not be enough for this crazy of a vehicle or something along those lines. Actually, the mass of the wheel is just 1 currently, which is super actually light. Let's try to make that bigger, and hey, now we can see that it actually just behaves much better now already. We can pause this, and we can bring the camera up, and we can try to, yeah, see now it behaves much better immediately when we added a little bit of mass to those wheels. You can't really brake this thing currently because the engines have nowhere near, or the engine has nowhere near the torque needed to like actually bring this thing to a stop. Just like I'm braking now, and it's like full brake. We can actually hand brake even. Okay, I think the camera distance is way too low, so let's make that larger. Huh? What did I do? What did I do wrong? Oh, I did something wrong here. The Jason. There we go. Okay, that's a little better. Maybe even a bit more. Yeah, now the orbit distance is quite good. Like you can see, the driving camera is still sort of, it matches this body here in the middle, but we'll be changing that too soon. Okay, so this thing is like, these wheels are constantly in the air, and one reason for that is that the suspension distance is just way too short. So let's make that a lot larger too. All right, what about now? Does it make it easier for them to stay on the ground? You can see, yes. Now we're kind of talking. Well, that wheel is still sort of in the air, and like I'm not really showing you this, but you can see here that let's actually just get rid of these guys for now. Maybe we can fix this, put this on one screen and still be able to mess with them. So we have the max suspension compression, max suspension droop. So droop is sort of like if you sort of lift the vehicle, like, you know, imagine picking it up from this guy and just lifting it into the air. Like how far are the wheels allowed to sort of fall? And then suspension compression, unsurprisingly, is like the other way around. How far they are allowed to be compressed. So let's just perhaps make that even larger in both directions. And I think the wheels should probably still be even bigger than they are currently. But yeah, it's starting to sort of take shape. I think I'll make the wheels even just a little bigger still, and we'll see what happens. So let's just make the radius like around 2 world units. All right, did I get everyone? No, there's one. Okay, and then we'll change it here. Radius 2. Mass is probably 50. I mean, what? I need to convert. Okay. Oh, huh. The editor game instance crashed for some reason. That's not good. Yeah, the mass is not really. The mass is not really sort of realistic here. I just realized that I had put actually the width to 10. That's kind of interesting. That was not my intention. Okay, let's put the width to 10. Let's put the radius to, to 2. Let's put the radius to 2 as well. Put the mass to 50. And here we're not talking about wheels, we're talking about physics shapes. So the height is the wheel width. Make it 2 as well. This is a bit unfortunate. We have to sort of keep these two documents in sync, if you will. Can't be helped. Let's see what happens. This should be interesting. Yeah. Yeah, now it's really acting up. Now it's really acting up. Let's see. Can we calm it down by? So I'm gonna put some significantly more mass to the wheels. Let's put down another one. Oh right, I need to do one thing. I had actually added the mother to the to this list here, but that was, I only then built it for the debug one. So let's just quickly build it for release. Oh, not that list, not this list. Mother. While we're at it, maybe we can actually increase this a little bit to like 6 units. And release. There we go. And then just reload the editor and we can play. And it's kind of bugging out still. And that may be because we don't really have enough mass on the chassis. So let's make the chassis a lot heavier. And that seems to have calmed it down. Now we can drop down another mother here. Well, you can see that it's a little weird. It's a little weird. It's a little weird. That's to be expected, I guess. That's to be expected, I guess. I would still like to make the wheels larger. And we're gonna have to sort of mess with this a little bit. I think I'm not gonna make the chassis quite that heavy. Let's just bring it down a little bit. And right, so radius 3, 3, 3, 3, 3, and 3. How's this then? It's a little strange. It's a little bugging out. It is of course possible that it doesn't really make sense to actually model this huge mother vehicle using this vehicle model, because it would just be moving so slow that you could almost just kinematically move it. But I would like to actually do it if it's at all possible. Okay, I'm gonna pause this now. Let's just add much more engine torque to this engine, because it's not really able to do anything currently. Alright, now it is. But not quite. I'm actually accelerating like crazy now. It's just it doesn't have the power to do almost anything. Engine max rotation speed could probably be a little lower. It doesn't need to be a fast vehicle, not at all. In fact, it needs to be very slow. Let's bring that down even further and just make the torque even higher. Oh no, I'm falling off the earth, falling off the level. Yeah, it takes quite a while to actually stop this thing. Okay, let's do something about that silly little chassis in the middle. It will probably be a convex hull at some point, but for now let's just make it a box, and let's make it. So where are the wheels? The wheels are like at 15, minus 15, so it would be like 30 meters long, maybe 10 meters high and 10 meters wide, something like that. Let's make it like 8 meters high. And then let's make the center of mass -2, doing it here off screen. I should probably enable that by default, which can be done from the C++ currently only. Oh, of course, not that way. So the width is the first one, that's 8. Height is that, and then length is Z. Yes. Yes. Right. And whoa. Yeah. It was probably inside the ground in the beginning. So okay. Yeah. It it is stuck now. All right, so let's bring it up a little bit, like so, and we can just see where are the. All right, yeah, it doesn't reload the blueprint, but that's fine. So it's a little too high currently. And also, I think, yeah, let's make it maybe 8 meters tall. And then I'll just move these wheels here. I'll move them down a little bit. So let's let's like move them 1 unit down. See how that affects things. We can move them then down on the fly further if needed. Alright, so how's this? Alright, this is starting to look like something. This is starting to look like something. Oh, it's really it's really huge, and when it gets going, it just brings everything with it. The mother doesn't care. The mother just goes and drives. Oh no, poor Scout gets caught up in mother's embrace. Yeah, the bottom of the chassis is sort of close to the ground. But yeah, this is kind of starting to be interesting. And once it gets going, it's really difficult to stop it. Let's do the max steering angle should be a bit higher, so let's do like 1, 2, maybe 1, 2. Without, oh, I am stuck now. Let's put down another mother here. Total torque applied. Okay. Yeah, I don't care. I don't care. So make sure that these wheels have like enough of a turning radius. Like that's a pretty crazy turning angle actually, but it's probably pretty good. Let's make that. Make that, and let's make this. Yeah, something like this, and alright, that's good. I still think it's way too fast, so let's bring down the max rotation speed to something like 70, which I guess is like radians per second or something like that. And I think the distance between the wheels is probably a little too crazy. Let's bring them a little together, like so. It's stuck. Added even more torque to the engine. It has like a ridiculous amount of torque now, but that I guess that makes kind of sense. I wonder how fast we can go with this guy. Probably too fast still for its own good. Yeah, I mean, I guess this is sort of starting to look like we could maybe model this vehicle with the physics model that we use for the other vehicles. Oh, shit. Yes. Yeah, poor mother. Poor mother fell down the abyss. See, now that we've tweaked this a little bit, can we get this one unstuck? Not really. Oh yes, we can. Oh yes, we can. Yeah. Okay. It's worth keeping in mind that we're running with like a gearbox that's made for a 10 times smaller vehicle. So the handling of this is really quite bad. But yeah, not bad overall. Let's pause that, and I'd like to make the handbrake torque much larger, so that we can actually handbrake with this. Make a handbrake turn with this huge vehicle if we want to. So handbrake, maybe even more. $20,000 Newtons. Yeah, now the rear wheels are really braking when you want them to. All right. Yeah. I think maybe this vehicle should be actually tracked, and so there's some interesting research for me to do there, how to get tracked vehicles working. But this is good. We can already move around, move our mobile base around. Except it's not very good at climbing hills. I think this is probably the vehicle that will require the most tweaking of them all, because like you're supposed to just essentially get this from point A to point B in every single puzzle or mission or level in the game. So this needs to be really fun to drive around and mess around with. But yeah, pretty cool. I think this is a start of something really fun. I mean, it's already kind of fun to just mess around with this. Should the chassis perhaps have more mass? Let's make the spring strength larger, and let's give the chassis some more mass. Oh, this feels really sluggish now. Is the bottom hitting the ground? No, it's not. And this is the kind of thing with this vehicle tweaking. It's just like everything sort of relates to everything. So you just have to sort of try and see what is what. And the rate at which these wheels turn is quite huge. Like if we place like the normal test vehicle there, and then we just see like it's turning like this huge wheel at this very sort of very quick rate, and that's kind of crazy. Try to give the wheels a lot more mass. How does that affect the driving? Now the overall mass of the vehicle is just much larger, I guess. Yeah. Yeah, it is. I can barely get it to stop. Alright, let's try this one. I added more droop and compression distance to the wheels. I added more torque to the engine. And it's not very good at climbing still. Yeah. And now we're just stuck. Yeah, maybe it's still like a little too fast. Let's just make this even slower. Make it even slower. Because it should be really slow. Maybe this is a pretty good max velocity. Yeah, I think this is a pretty good start. We'll need to flesh out the thing a bit more to actually see what's sort of what is sensible here and what is not. I wonder where's the brake torque? Max brake torque. Let's make that something much larger so that we can actually get this thing to stop without using handbrake. That should be good. So brake, yeah, it's nowhere near as powerful as it needs to be. Let's make it twice as powerful and then just stop. Still maybe not quite as powerful as I would like it to be. Trying to get some speed to build up, and then like this, and then I start to brake now. Is this actually doing anything? Let's see. Yeah, it is. It clearly is. I just made the brake torque sort of ridiculous now. And so I'm accelerating, and I'm braking, and yeah. I mean, it's not necessarily a bad thing that the brake is really good with this thing. It's probably best that you can get it to stop when you want it to stop. Otherwise, you can just curse your whole game if you just. What? Oh, the front is sort of hitting the ground. Let's see. Let's make the wheels a little. Let's make it a little higher. Give it some more clearance. Which I can do here on the fly. And all right, here we go. Now we lifted it up a bit. Yeah, we need to put in some like meshes. It's kind of difficult to see with these visualizations when something is actually on the ground and when it's not. So we need to put in some proper meshes here to see that things are actually connecting properly. Okay. Pretty cool. I like this already. I like this idea of just this absolutely enormous vehicle that you can drive around with and mess with. Just like boom. Go away. Go away, my child. It's becoming quite good at navigating this now. Like if I brake here, can I reverse up this hill? Yes, I can. I can do that. And so, let's see if I can stop messing with this scout for a bit. Like if you see this from this perspective, you can see that it's really quite big, quite huge. That's the idea. The idea is that it's supposed to be almost like imposing, even though it's on your side. It should feel like it's really, really big. And so I think we've accomplished that already. And you should be able to fit a bunch of those guys inside this, even sort of like on a realistic scale. Like yeah, it could potentially fit those guys inside. Yeah, I need to be able to control how fast these wheels are turning, because I feel like this guy should have. It should just be very slow, and it actually sort of turns. I wonder where is that code? Is that code in like? Is that code in Zig or is it in C++ or where is it? Yeah, it's probably, I would guess, in the vehicle controller. And in the vehicle controller, N wheel in this case, yeah. But it would be N wheel physics. And it would probably be something like angle. Huh? Angle. Steering angle, yeah. Yeah. So it's steering angle. And is steering angle like something that we actually pass to the. Let's just search for that in the project. Suspension render. Right. Okay. It's probably actually the input, isn't it? Where's the vehicle controller base class? It's right here, and we can give the input data. Here we go. Vehicle input data. Yeah, steering. Let's see, where's the steering? Vehicle avatar component. Vehicle input steering. This is the one that we're passing to the input vehicle steering. Okay. But is this the thing that actually... four-wheel physics. Analog steer. Set analog inputs. Right, so now we're inside phys.x. Steer versus forward speed table, raw input data. Alright, well, I need to figure out where that value is so that we can't just like rotate the wheels this fast. This is way too fast for this kind of big vehicle. We should also make it more interesting to steer when you can. I mean, if I'm playing with a gamepad, I can obviously control this much more slowly. But if you can only sort of rotate these vehicles or these wheels at like a slow speed, then it means that you can only make these really large turns. Turning radius will be very big, which is fun. Okay. Well, how about that? Let's look at our to-do list. I'm gonna drive off the edge of the world if I keep doing that. So we set up a test level. We did that. We created a mother vehicle, cranes, and the scout. Well, we sort of have the scout, I guess. I feel like this vehicle is so important to the whole game design and the idea and the concept and everything that maybe we'll just continue working on this. Cranes obviously are a part of this vehicle. But now that we have it working this well, maybe we'll try to get some visuals going for it in the next part. And also some more sensible collision shapes, so that we can actually sort of, like, this thing is supposed to have like a cargo area or cargo bay or something like on the roof that you can actually transport things in. So maybe that's something to start looking at next. And when we have that, then we can have the cranes, and that means that we can just like lift things on top of it, which should be fun. So let's maybe do that. But I think I'm gonna end this part here. This is getting quite long already. We did get a pretty good start on this vehicle, which I'm happy about, because I was kind of nervous that is this actually gonna like work at all. It looks like it might just work. And here we see that we probably need to up the drop distance a little bit, but hey, don't put them inside of each other. Bad things will happen. Whoa, we have like a 2,000-ton vehicle just doing pirouettes in the sky. All right. With that, I thank you for your time. I don't expect anyone to actually follow along with these, but if you did, that's very nice of you. Maybe write in the comment below why you actually spend your time with this. Anyway, I'll see you in the next one. Or not.